Hi, this is Emmett Muckles with the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast, and you are listening to Experiences You Should Have.
Hi, this is Gail with Experiences You Should Have, your how-to guide for amazing experiences. And right now, I am at the largest podcasting conference in the world, Podcast Movement 2018 in Philadelphia. And my gosh, this is the conference to be at. I have met so many incredible people. We have people from NPR here. We've got people from podcasts all over the world. I even met a woman from Sweden today. But one of my favorite people that I have met at this conference is Emmett Muckles with Billionaire Lifestyle. And he is here on the show today to talk about experiencing nude spas in Austria. That's a fun topic. Emmett, so you are here with Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast. Just tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast.
So the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast, I created it, out of a mindset change that started with me like in the 2007, 2008, but that wasn't, it evolved to where it is now. And it is about conscious creators.
Yeah.
Perfecting your trinity, which is your mind, body, and spirit, and living, because people always say, I'm not a billionaire. And I'm like, you absolutely are. I'm like, if you just think about the cell count in your one eyeball, there's probably 1 billion cells there, or your hand. Or let's take it back to when you were conceived, when a sperm cell met an egg and it started to split. 30 days later, there were literally over 1 billion cells.
You know what? That blows my mind every single time, because what are the chances that we are here on this planet right now living? Minuscule.
Right.
It's amazing.
I mean, if you think about the universe, how complex it is to make a structure, especially a high-functioning structure or entity like we are, which is we created our own world out of thinking. I mean, think about what an automobile is. Look at a rhesus monkey, which could be our relative. Now picture all the evolution that this animal would have to go to be to the point where they could make an automobile, let alone a Tesla.
It is absolutely mind-blowing, incredible. I mean, every single day I'm in awe of this beautiful world that we live in. And that's also why this podcast is here. I'm looking for unique experiences in the world because we live in such a beautiful world.
And part of that beauty is the human body.
Hi! Yes, we got to bring it on track, because we are talking about the nude, the naked human body, and we don't have to be ashamed of that.
But that's very Puritan, patriarchal item, because if you look around the world, you'll see that there's a lot of oppression of women, and a lot of that oppression of women comes because of their physical form.
Right.
And it's because, and if you think about it and please don't get me wrong if I get it wrong, just go to emmettmuckles.com and correct me. So if you think about Islam, women have to be covered, basically just their eyes can be showing in a lot of the cultures, and a lot of that is because I believe Muhammad understood the form of lust that man would have for women, and the control and power that can permeate from there. And a lot of other cultures as well, when you look at the human body in its natural form, it's taboo.
Right.
Particularly in America. We sexualize everything. And I had this bucket list. And I was married for like 20 some odd years. I got a divorce, and then I met my current wife. And we had this whirlwind relationship. We traveled a lot. And she's from Austria.
Cool. I've never been to Austria.
It's really pretty. It looks like a really upscale West Virginia.
Okay. Okay.
But, I had this bucket list. One was I wanted to see the Milky Way.
All right. Have you seen the Milky Way?
I've finally seen it. I actually saw it first. I kind of got a glimpse of it in the Nevada desert one time, but it was still too much light pollution, and I really got a good glimpse of it when I was in Austria up in the mountains.
Cool.
So we developed this relationship, my wife and I, who has Pink Shots podcast for women by women.
I'll check it out.
That I'm the producer of. And I said, look, I want to see the Milky Way. I want to go to a nude facility and just try to do it.
Okay, so tell me about this nude facility or nude spa.
So this is actually a nude journey.
Okay, all right.
Because you just...
Take me on the journey.
I mean, you really have to just jump into it. I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, I'm going to take my shirt off. Okay, I'm going to take my socks off. No, you just have to be in a community that is there because, as an American, you have this really odd sense about the human body because it's been so sexualized in your psyche that if you see a nude, like if I was to see you nude right now, it wouldn't be anything of, but even if you have sexual thoughts about it, that doesn't, you can put those in a construct.
Right.
Versus letting those permeate your whole being and be the whole sole reason that, you're focusing in on someone. So she said, okay, I'm going to introduce you to this. So I researched it. I researched it here in America. We have these little sites and camps and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Oregon, and it's very prevalent. Almost every hot spring is nude.
That's that West Coast, that past the plains, past Mississippi River mentality that we were talking about. The more the east you are in America, the more uptight you are, and as you flow to the west side, you open up.
It's a little more free.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit more free. People are a little bit more open about things.
Right.
But not to the level I've even seen in Europe because, there are several things that they have. They have the beaches, right? They're probably connected to a public beach or private facility. But then they have these saunas, which are natural springs because all the water is filtered through the earth that's in Austria because they're at a high elevation. They have a lot of mountains and a lot of snow. And they have these hot springs that are called beds.
Beds.
Oh, bad. B-A-D. It's spelled B-A-D, but think of it as bath.
Okay. All right.
Right? So I go to see my soon-to-be future in-laws.
Uh-huh. Is this the first time you're meeting them?
First time I'm meeting them.
Okay.
First time I'm meeting them.
The stakes are high.
And my wife's like, I got a great surprise. We're going to go to this ice cave, and then we're going to go to the beach. That's all she said.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to have a picnic. And I'm like, bet, cool.
Okay.
I'm down. Whatever.
Cool. Right.
We take the trip. We drive across Upper Austria.
Yeah.
Because my in-laws live in Klaus, Austria.
Okay.
Which is a small city. Probably about 100, 150 miles from Vienna.
Okay.
So we go to this place and where the ice caves, I think it was Hallstatt.
How's that?
Hallstatt.
How's that?
Hallstatt.
Okay. Okay.
So in that area, there was this large mountain, but you could go inside the mountain because the water had eroded out a lot of the dirt, and there was a glacier inside the cave, and you walk through it, and they have it lit up so you can actually see these like stalactite like ice formations, and you can see these slides, and it was really cool. You walk like
a glacier inside a cave.
Yeah, and it's like a half a mile deep.
Do you know the name of this cave?
I think it was the ice cave in Hallstatt.
Okay.
You could probably look that up.
I'll look it up, and I'll make sure to include it in the show notes.
And if I'm wrong, I'll do some more recon with my wife and send you the information.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Because a lot of this I can't really pronounce very well because,
right.
Too many consonants.
It's okay.
All right, so we get off, we go through the tour. The tour is pretty cool. We walk back down the mountain a little bit, and then we catch a cable car back down to the ground level where we get in the car and literally go like down the street to the beach. So inside the cave, it's 100 degrees when we were there, but inside the cave it was like 40 degrees.
Ooh,
so you had to have your coat on.
Right.
So we come back to the car, take our coat off, drive down the street, down to the beach. So I see a regular public beach where everybody's on it. And so I'm like ready to sit down. I'm like, wonder how come we're not sitting down.
Uh-huh.
And then I see these tall, like.
The journey continues.
Yes. At the end of the beach, there's like these 10-foot shrubberies. And you go through it, and it's like a little maze. You have to make like 3 or 4 left and right-hand turns. And all of a sudden, it's naked white people.
Naked white people.
For those of you who don't know, I'm very brown. I'm like, naked white people. And so there's a lot of very curtness about it. There's a lot of rules. There's no PDAs. There's no like sitting there spread eagle.
Right.
You know, what do I see as soon as I turn that corner? I see a very healthy woman, very endowed woman, legs spread wide open. I'm like, whoa. To which my mother-in-law looks at me and goes, that's just bullshit.
Okay, so we're setting the stage here. You have just met your in-laws.
Just met them like 2 days.
And you are now at a nude beach with them.
At this point, I am looking at a bunch of nude Europeans.
Okay.
Of varying ages. Most of them are over the age of 40, but there's a few spatterings of younger folks, probably in their 30s or 20s.
That's a way to meet the in-laws, you
Right.
know?
You know, we're clothed. I've taken that jacket off, so we got like the picnic stuff and the blankets and stuff. We go to the nude part of the beach. They all strip down. Strip down, butt booty naked.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, whoa. But for some odd reason, I really wasn't. It really didn't hit me like you would think you would see when you see someone nude. I just, something changed.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of the journey, because then as I looked over the landscape of this beach, I started to realize something that I had not picked up before. Other than the color of their skin, because there were some really pale people, some with a few sunburns, I had nothing to judge them by. I couldn't judge them on class, because most of them had been in the water, so their hair was not really styled or anything.
Right.
I couldn't really see if they had a manicure or pedicure. I couldn't tell what they were. They could have been bums. They could have been CEOs. I couldn't tell the difference. The only thing I could tell is if they were worked out or not.
So it levels the playing field.
It literally levels the playing field. You become human being, which is what I talk about in my podcast, but being a human being. And I found a deep level of comfort in the fact that now that I realize why God made us the way we are, because when they say all men are created equal, you really see that when you take away the sexual component and see people as human beings.
Right.
All right, so we're at this place. This is just a beach. Now, I've taken my clothes off. I'm trying to relax, but it was this time of the season where the wasps are out looking for sugar. And I guess they found brown sugar that day, because about an hour in, I got stung by a bee.
Okay, so what month are we in? What season are we in?
I think this was like August or September.
So maybe don't go to a nude beach in Austria in August or September, or you might get stung by a wasp.
Yeah, just look for the wasp. If you're in the Midwest, you're really acclimated to this, because, it's usually like September, October for us. Because that's harvest season, and so the fruits and stuff fall off the trees, the sugars are available, so the wasp can eat off that. And I think it's just a little bit off kilter because they're north of us, but they have a warmer climate in some aspects.
So where did you get stung?
In the groin area, next to the man bag. You like how I said next to my Louis Vuitton.
So you're on the beach. You just got stung in the groin area by a wasp with your in-laws.
Who are everyone's nude. And I was like, it's a wrap. I'm out. I've been touched by a bee. I've been violated. All these humans here, and I got violated by something that's less than a 1/4 inch long.
Now, did you take that as a sign? Like, I'm never doing this again?
No, I just took it as a sign that bees suck.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Well, hey, bees are going to save the planet.
Well, wasps suck.
Okay, well, don't they help out some way, too?
Yeah, they eat up the sugar, but they sting humans.
Yeah, well.
They thought I was maple syrup. I don't know what it is. Whatever.
Okay.
So that was the first. So then 2 years later, we go back to Austria. And so now I know kind of what to expect.
Right. You're going to have a nude moment with your in-laws.
I'm going to have one with my in-laws, yes.
Right, right.
So we go on a camping trip in a camper.
Okay.
And we stay in this camping area because they like to camp. They usually go to Croatia, but we stayed in Austria, which is like upper Austria, really close to Germany, not far.
Yeah.
Closer to Salzburg. It's like really between Salzburg and Vienna. Mm-hmm. So we go to this campsite, and then they say, we're not going to take you to the beach because we see you don't really like the beaches. So we're going to take you to a spa.
Okay.
And I got disarmed. I was like thinking, a spa. So I'm going to get cucumbers on my eyes and massages.
Right.
Thinking the American thing
That's
again.
what I think of.
Right. So I get there, and it's like a big community center. Like this hotel that we're in, which is like the Marriott. But picture this if it was kind of like, had a basketball court and a swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
It's
so
like,
you're not getting like the spa aromatherapy, little running water type of thing.
Hold your horses.
Okay.
Slow your roll. Pump your brakes.
Oh, okay. I'm pumping. I'm pumping.
That's upstairs. Upstairs, they have a pool, they have saunas, they have basketball, sports stuff. They have a cafe where you can have a wonderful Austrian cuisine. But then downstairs is the spa where you go through the locker rooms, take off all your clothes, and you walk out in the robe, and you take a shower first.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah, you want people to shower.
Yes, and then you have access to a variety of saunas. These beautiful wooden saunas that range in temperature from maybe 105 degrees up to 120 degrees.
120 degrees?
Yes.
Are people fainting in the sauna?
No, they're just sitting in there chilling. I sweat when I think about exercise. I literally sweat if I think too hard. Mm-hmm. So, I could get into the one that's maybe 110.
Right.
But not for very long. But it really clears up your dermis.
Okay.
Because you get to sweat all the toxins out.
Is this co-ed?
Yes.
Ah.
Co-ed in all ages. Well, there's no children there.
Okay.
But we were there in the middle of the day, in the middle of like a work week. So you never know. So I see people as young as like maybe early 20s, like 20, 21, 22, up to 90 years old.
Wow.
No clothes on.
Yeah.
So you have this series, I think there was 3 saunas with varying degrees in temperature. And the last one was a coal fire. And then you could go outside, and then there was a lap pool. It was probably 12 feet wide by probably 20 feet long.
And are people in the pool
Yeah,
in the buff?
there's people in the pool in the buff.
All right.
All right. And then on one side of it, one little corner has like this weird built-in sauna where you could get up on this ledge. And like every 15 minutes, the bubbles would come out, and it would be like you're in a hot tub because it's a hot spring.
Wow.
That's why it's called a bed spring.
Okay.
And let me see if I can remember what the name was. It was they call them the thermal baths. It's Bad Usse.
Bad Usse.
And you spell that A-U-S-S-E.
Okay.
In Austria. And there was the Grimmings. That's not how you pronounce it, but it's spelled Grimming.
So what's the Grimmings?
I think that just stands for thermal.
Okay. All right.
So if you want to know if it's a spa, it'll say bad in it. And it's usually based on the town because the town has a hot spring.
Okay.
And they'll just build a spa around it. So in addition to that, there's a cold pool.
Uh-huh.
So when you come out the sauna or you come out the hot springs.
Because you are sweating hot.
You go and jump into this ice cold water for seconds and get back out so you can
readjust, get your temperature back to.
Then there's a series of like lawn chairs that people are just laying out on. And this was the same thing on 2 different occasions because one day we went to one spa. The next day we went to a different spa. Basically the same concept, slightly different physical layout.
Got it.
So there's a clothed portion and then there's an unclothed portion. But they all have saunas. They have hot spring pools. They have a cold pool. They have a place that you can hang out and watch the mountains, watch the clouds go over the mountains, feel the breeze on your skin. It is so relaxing. But here's the thing that I learned.
Tell me.
Is that Americans, we have a jacked up mentality when it comes to body. No wonder we have so much body shaming. And this is what my wife said to me. She says, you know what? Most boys have never seen their mom nude, so they only think it's taboo for someone to be nude. And just think.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and most children initially feed from their mother's nude bosom.
Right.
So why should it always be a sexual act when you see someone without clothes?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
You know, there are some people with some issues, of course. You know, but everybody's not like that. But we've been conditioned to think only one way about the opposites of each other. Like if you see a nude male, you know, it's sexual. It has to be a sexual innuendo. Versus when you see a nude female, it has to be sexual in this country. I mean, we even do our advertisements that way based on the image.
You're right. I mean, the commercials in the U.S. are much different than what you see in Europe.
That's
much
true.
different.
That's true.
But I mean, even like I was a breastfeeding mom for
Right.
a long time, and you know what? I didn't cover up. You know, my
Right.
child was hungry. The boob came out, and
That's-
the boob was not a sexual thing.
Right, but we make it sexual, and you know, that's one of the. This is what I wish other people could experience, because if they see it that way. Because I even talked to my dad about. He was like, I can never do that. He's like, something might happen mysteriously. I'm like, Dad, once you wrap your mind around the fact that it is non-sexual, that is just a human being there, you know, then yeah, you know, you might have some attraction to somebody, but I don't think you're gonna get Woody.
But
Just
good. Good. Very good.
Just looking at some random person.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit of logistics here.
Let's do that.
So I want to know, how much does it cost to go to one of these
Oh,
spas?
this is gonna blow your mind.
Okay, I'm
So
ready.
if I come to a spa here in the United States, I'm probably gonna spend anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a day, right?
Whoa, okay.
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
that's expensive. I guess I'm used to maybe like an hour massage or something.
All right.
But you're doing like a full day spa
I did a
thing.
full day of spa.
Okay.
Excluding what I ate for lunch, my admission was $37
$37
for the whole day.
That is incredible.
At every place,
That's
it was
incredible.
like some places it was less. It was like $20 for the whole day.
Okay, so what do you want to bring to the spa?
You don't have any clothes.
Well, I mean,
you want to bring. You can bring a robe, but they
Okay.
provide those. But you probably want to bring flip flops.
Okay, flip flops. That's a good advice.
And sunscreen if you're non-brown.
All right. Okay. And what about like water? Do they have like
They have all that.
they got it all?
They got everything.
And food. You mentioned like there's like a cafe upstairs.
There's a cafe. It's literally like a hotel spa without the hotel rooms. You know, all the amenities that a hotel has.
right.
Like, think about the workout area. Think about the pool. Think
And
about
only $37.
$37.
This is an experience
'Cause
you should have.
Yeah, because I think it was like 31 euros, which it really is still under $50 for a whole day per person.
That's not bad.
I
That
think
is not bad at all.
so. Even if you add in your food, and this is what's so cool, because you have nothing on, you get this armband that has an RFID in it typically.
Okay.
And so when you want to go get something, you want to go buy something, you scan your RFID and it goes into your account and you pay at the end of the day.
Now, did you see people here at the spa that seemed a little nervous?
Nope.
Or okay.
And here's the thing about it, because in America, like for instance, me as an African American man, if I go somewhere where it's traditionally non-people of color, I get direct looks. Or if my wife and I go somewhere, we're going to get direct looks. There, it's a totally different, respectful culture where it's non-confrontational. Even if somebody has an issue with you, you'll never know it. They just do them.
Cool.
And they let you do you.
That's
As long
nice.
as you're not being, obnoxious about anything. No one's really going to do, people smile at you.
Right.
They might ask you a question like where you're from, but most of the time people think thought I was either Jamaican or African. And I'm not that dark.
No.
But because that's where the influx, where people come from. So my wife told me that there's a thing where middle-aged, like Austrian and German women, like who are divorced, or they go get a boy toy from Africa or Jamaica and bring them back. So most of the men of color that you see are associated with some woman.
Got it. Got it. Now, as far as preparing yourself for this, if you're coming from the U.S., how do you mentally prepare to take your clothes off in public for the first time?
So here's the first thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Be naked in your house.
Okay.
Just be naked in your house for 2 hours.
All right.
For 2 hours. Sit and watch TV naked. Go cook, but don't cook bacon.
Okay. Oh.
Don't iron naked.
Don't go near wasps naked.
Don't run outside because
Okay.
you could get like on the sex offenders list
Right,
here.
right. We don't want that.
The second one is there might be meetup groups. There's meetup groups in America who just get together and be nude.
Yeah, in Oregon, there's naked hikes.
Yeah, I've never attended any because I live in the Midwest.
Right.
But my introduction, how I prepared for it was I travel a lot because I work in an industry that allows me to travel, and it's a very liberal industry. So I was in Southern California. I visited Black's Beach, and there was a beach that I visited when I was doing some lectures in Hawaii, in Maui. So there was a beach there that I visited. They kind of acclimated me to it.
I've been to that beach.
And now I'm just, it's so liberating.
It is. It is. I've been there, and it feels great to walk around nude and not to be seen in a sexual manner.
Yes. And so you know that thing that women always get, like, you're looking at my boobs.
Uh-huh.
If it's kind of depending on your height, that may be may have to look. It may seem that way anyway.
Okay, fair.
But it's even more deliberate when you're nude as part of the scheme of being courteous, is that you don't deliberately stare at a body part.
Right.
Unless it is unavoidable.
Very true. Very true.
There's instances where it's just unavoidable. You're going to be looking at a specific body part for an extended part of time.
Okay, but it's not meant to be an uncomfortable experience.
No.
You're there to enjoy nature and essentially be one with nature. Be how we actually came out of the womb.
Yep. And so I want to segue real quick on something too. So a couple of years ago, I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, your vitamin D levels are critically low.
Oh.
She did a blood test.
I heard that most of us actually have a vitamin D deficiency.
Yes, and people of color seriously have one because that's why we're brown. Our lineage is being exposed to the sun, so our skin is made to convert that to an amino acid or protein of vitamin D. So because we're covered up, because this colonized mind has infected us and we cover ourselves with clothing and we don't expose ourselves to the sun, now we're susceptible to things that we weren't susceptible to before, skin cancer, melanoma. But also we're vitamin D deficient because most of us come from more equatorial regions where we didn't have clothes on or weren't as clothed, so our body converted that to vitamin D. So it's a healthy thing to be nude.
Wow. Okay, so it's healthy for your body.
Yep.
And your mind.
And your mind.
And your soul.
And your soul. And it reinvents your psychology.
Well, this sounds like an experience that maybe everyone should really have.
Openly. They should do it with an open mind and no judgment.
Absolutely. And to do it with correct etiquette, and to know that if you go to a nude beach, to not treat it in a sexual manner. If
Correct.
You go to a nude spa, to treat others with respect and to savor the moment in a non-sexual manner.
And be open and ask, hey, I'm new to this. Are there any rules that I should obey?
Okay.
Just be that honest, because it's like the podcast movement here. People are very open and very friendly.
Right. This has been absolutely wonderful. Emmett, thank you for coming on the show. And again, his show is the Billionaire Lifestyle. And go check him out. He's an amazing person, and go hear more about how you can truly be a billionaire in the sense of experience and not so much the money.
You got it. And I'll see you in Oregon sometime soon.
Yeah, come on out. We'll take you to a hot spring.
Yeah, and have my treats ready for me.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Peace.
Hi, This is Gail with Experiences You Should Have. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. There's a lot that goes into making a podcast, editing, trying to find the right guests, trying to figure out what experience I want to share. And I just want to ask you, if you are enjoying these episodes, to make sure that you subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts if you're an Android user, or Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and please leave a review. Reviews really help out, especially for a new podcast like me. And just really, I appreciate your support and thank you for listening. And I promise more exciting episodes are to come. Thanks.